Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. So today it's a nice early Sunday morning. It's 5 to 6 in the morning and I'm never up this early. I'm not normally up until about 7 o'clock when either my youngest son or daughter will wake me up, which is normally my son or my daughter kicking or punching me in the face. That's why I normally look swollen in the face, because I've normally got booted. Okay. Now, last night I got 90 minutes sleep all night. Never got to sleep until about 3:30 in the morning. Now, for somebody like me, with the health conditions I have, it's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. So I will be expecting the repercussions to do with my epilepsy later on today, unless I get a lot of sleep. And as it happens, Mr. Foxy's come to see me, which is always a nice thing in the morning. Mr. Todd's there. Okay, so while it's one coming that close to me on the beach. And the reason why do I get so little sleep? Now, last night, actually we'll go back a few days. A couple of days ago, I think it was Thursday, might have even been Wednesday last week, spoke to one of my oldest and best friends. He lives over in Southampton, Craig. And I was talking to him about a few things. And because he doesn't have any children, okay, and he's divorced from his wife, he asked me the hardest question I've ever been asked to answer. And to be honest, being a guy that's worked in the sales industry for 20 years, prominently in the solar and double glazing industry, but other fields as well, I just gave him my usual sales patter. Okay, and this was the question: how would you rate yourself as a father and as a husband and a partner to your previous partners? And at the time, I said to him, every single one of them is lucky to have me in their life. I'm a salesperson. What do you expect me to say? But that doesn't mean it's the truth. Because when I do that, a lot of the time, it's about self-preservation. Probably being a bit delusional to yourself, being extremely dishonest to myself. And at some stage, I've always said, you've got to be honest to yourself. And the one thing that I've always done in my life is to try and avoid turning into my father. Now, I'm hoping and praying none of my children, my stepdaughter, my wife, or my eldest child's mother is watching this. And if you are, skip or switch it off. Because to be honest, I don't want you watching this. I seriously do not want you watching this. Okay, so please do that. I would appreciate it, because this is going to be directly about you. Now, the reason I slept so little last night, I'm going to try not to break my neck on the rocks on the beach, is I received a phone call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to address my wife, my ex-partner first. So I received a phone call, which was from an ex-partner, won't name her. I will protect her privacy. She's got every right to that. Okay. Woman I haven't spoken to in 15, 16 years. Physically spoken to. Haven't seen in probably 3 to 4 years. And to be honest, I'm glad she did call. And the reason I'm glad she did call after all these years, and it was far too long, okay, is it put a lot of things into perspective for me. Because for a lot of years, I'd always treated it as I was hard done by. Because it boiled down to self-preservation at the end of the day. Now the thing is, was I a good partner to her? And have I been a good husband to my wife? And the honest answer is no. I was an awful partner to her, if I actually look back on it. Okay. And to be honest, have I been a good husband to my wife as well? Probably not. You know, I've had plenty of people come to me over the years and say how I've taken advantage of people. Am I lucky to still have my wife? Yep. Was it my fault that things ended badly with my previous partner? Yep. And could have things ended differently? Quite likely. Now, this is something I shouldn't say, because I'm probably going to get a lot of stick for saying this, and there's probably going to be repercussions for saying it. That's why my wife is watching. Switch off. Anybody related to her or knows her, switch off. Now, that ex-partner, I will always care for. No matter what, I will always care for her a lot. Because obviously she had my eldest child. So I will always care about her. Now, when it comes to my children, now, I've always said, not in public, but in private, that I have 7 children. 6 biological children and 1 stepchild. Now, I've always classified my stepdaughter, who currently isn't speaking to me, for whatever reason, she isn't. Okay, I've always classified her as my own, because I know what an awful relationship she has with her own real father. Now, have I been a good father to either of them? And this is the bit that hurts for me personally. Because my father was a lousy father. I mean, he was a really bad father. He's in my life now. I never met my father really until I was 18. But I'm not going to publicly start trying to slag off my father or shame my father or anything like that, because this isn't the place to do it. And I've had enough arguments and disputes over the year, even recently, with my father. But anybody that truly knows me knows I have spent my entire life making sure I am absolutely nothing like my mother and father, which, trust me, is easier said than done. It really is. And the shameful part of it is I've pretty much turned into my father, especially with everything that's happened. So my biggest problem was, and always has been, I've never known how to be a father, because I never had a father when I was growing up. And I know that's a really, really piss poor excuse. My father was never around. Still don't really see much of him. Yes, I do have him on the phone virtually every day. But I never knew how to be a father. But is that an excuse for my behaviour and how I've treated my stepdaughter, could be what, about 23 now, 24, 23, 24, and my own daughter, and I will not mention either of their names because it's not fair on them, but no, it's not. And it's not until somebody actually speaks to you and says to you a few things which you don't really want to hear, but you know you have to be honest enough to accept them and to accept your failings. So the reality of the answer is no, I've been absolutely awful. Now, this is the kicker. Can anything change? Fundamentally, they can. You know, I've already big enough to apologise for my failings, which are quite considerable. Whether either of them will accept them, time will tell. Don't honestly know if they will. Don't expect my stepdaughter to. You know, stepdaughter still won't even speak to me for whatever reason. I understand the reason when it comes to my own daughter. And I will put that to the side for now. Now, the reality is, from everything you learn in life and the mistakes that you do make, have I done a better job with my other children? Because obviously the first two are much older. I'm big enough to admit I've done a lousy job. And all I can do is try and fix that. Will I be able to fix it? I honestly don't know. I like to think that I will be able to fix it and mend the wrongs, but I don't know if it will actually be able to do it. Now, when it comes to my younger five, okay, now they've all been on videos with me in the past, and I like to think that I've done a good job with them. I've done a better job than I did with the previous two. Some people would say yes. Some people would say no. There's not a lot of people that would say no, to be honest. You know, I've spent a lot more time with them. Spent valuable time with them. which is something I can say I haven't done with the other two, which is something that I'm going to have to try and fix. So, as a general rule, I would say I'm not a good father. I haven't been a good father. Apart from to my 5 younger children. You know, now anything can change, and anything truly can change if you want it to change enough. But the question is, am I personally going to be able to change for all the faults that I have, all the mistakes I've made in my life over a 16-year period? Is going to be the big question for me. Because the reality is, it's something I've got to do. And if I don't, I face risking a lot more than I already have lost. Now, I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me for a single second. So I don't deserve sympathy. I don't want it. I never have asked for it. All I want is the hope that I can fix my own personal mistakes and the errors of misjudgment that I have personally made over the years, due to, I suppose you would say at the end of the day, my own personal incompetence. So we will see what will happen. You know, wish me luck, because I am going to need it, and see if I can turn things around, which I hope I can. And I hope that I'm given the opportunity to turn them things around as well. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.